Are you a bit short on money? What if I told you that there is a method which lets you extract a knife guaranteed more or less every raid, and then you can turn those knives into weapons? Because today we talk about why you should be playing the MP5. It's one of the most famous guns on the world, so let's see how well it performs in Tarkov. As always, we start with the modability. And well, there's not much to mod with this gun, sadly. Especially when you look at the default version, all you can do is basically tactical devices, a grip, a sight, and something in the front. That's it. So there's not much to mod here, and the mods are pretty expensive for this gun. But this gun has a different version of it, and that's the Navy version, MP5 SD. It comes with 33 recoil, which is insane. And very important for SMGs, the gun supports a drum mag. And as always, you also can make some very astonishing builds. Then let's talk about the affordability of the gun. Well, the MP5 is better than the SMG19 and also more expensive. And when you start modding, this can add up to a lot. So let's take a closer look on how you can save money. First off, and probably the best way is the trade with the 8 knives. But you can also buy the weapon directly at Peacekeeper for around 40,000 ruble, but I think that's not worth it. On the flea market it's usually around 20 to 25,000, that's better, but still I think you should focus on this trade with the knives, because if you've seen my red video, then you know there is absolutely no reason, except for the Red Rebel on reserve of course, but otherwise remove that thing, you're not gonna use it in raid, and then you have an empty slot which allows you to take scav knives, and once you pick them up you can't lose them anymore even if you die, so every 8th raid you get an MP5 for free. Same of course if you play as a scav, just stash that knife somewhere, it is a free weapon. Well, there's also another trade for an MP5 SD, the Navy version, but I think absolutely not worth it. You can also buy the SD version for around 60,000 ruble, but again, I think that's not worth it. It's way too expensive. The MPX is way better on that price range. So really focus on the knife trades. And also because I get a lot of comments like this, yes, the trades are constantly changing and also the prices, so it's hard to keep up. But I also offer you the reasons why I think a trade is worth or not, so you can apply that on the new trades that you're presented with. Okay. You also need to do the scrap metal mission first before you can buy the MP5 SD. So as an overview, the MP5, I would not pay more than 25,000 if you want to buy it. Otherwise, I would even go as far and not buy it at all and only focus on the trade. Because especially modding adds up extremely fast, so it's not better than an MPX in this case. Then we have magazines, and no, we're not gonna talk about the small one. The 30-year mag is okay with 6,000 rubles, and of course there's the drum mag. But this thing can only be traded at the beginning for a fuel conditioner, and with mechanic level 3 you can trade it for free wires, usually 10,000 a piece, but it wouldn't be my channel if we hadn't found a way to make it cheaper. Because you can craft those wires, so just take 2 cords, usually 15,000 a piece on the flea market, and then make 8 wires, making a wire around 3,000 somewhat ruble, giving you a magazine for around 10,000 rubles. Pretty amazing. Then let's talk about the ammunition, and as so often on this channel we have the 9mm. And still the most used ammo is the PST. Just be aware, well, PST isn't good at penetrating.
Oh, wow! That is relatable!
So if you use this ammo, just be aware that most fights could end like this. Way better is the 7N31 that absolutely shreds that thing. We tested it last week. 7 bullets destroys a level 6 armor, but therefore it's insanely expensive. I think a good middle ground would be the AP63 that you can craft in your hideout for around 400 rubles a bullet, which is pretty good for the values it provides. Then let's talk about the close range potential of the gun. I have to admit, I expected way worse, but the gun performed really good. I had a lot of good rates, and that's probably mainly because it has high RPM as other SMGs in this area, while still having pretty low recoil with around 40-30. And if you add a drum mag to the mix, then well, you get a weapon that absolutely sprays and prays. Well, you do the praying part, but you get the concept. One of those bullets is gonna connect with his head. Now the gun has an RPM of 800, that's the same as an M4. That's pretty good, it's not as fast as a Vector for example, but therefore it's way cheaper. And it's also higher than for example the SMG-19, which, well, I think the biggest disadvantage of the SMG-19 is the low RPM, otherwise this gun is amazing. But sometimes you are just gonna feel like your bullets don't do any damage, ricochet, armor, and sometimes bullets just disappear in Tarkov, I don't know. But well, for this case, of course, you trained how to throw a nade. I'm gonna show you how to mod the MP5 effectively. In another video, you can also build the MP5 SD for around 40,000 rubles, which is pretty cool, but as said, that's another video. Furthermore, especially if you play the MP5 SD version, the ergonomics is pretty high, so the ADS time is very low. That should please especially the Call of Duty style quickscopers. And then let's talk about range. Well, it is an SMG, but I don't want to talk about the MOA precision again, so let's talk about the muzzle velocity, because this has a high impact whether you're gonna hit the target or not. And the funny thing is, the AP63 that I just recommended is very slow, so absolutely not suited for range. While the PSD is a bit faster, the 7N31 is the best bullet if you encounter people on more medium ranges. You can actually check that in the game yourself by chambering a bullet, and you will immediately see the muzzle velocity. And as you can see, well, AP is very slow, PSD a bit faster, and 7N31 flies with over 600 meters per second. That's insanely good for an SMG. But again, this bullet is just insanely expensive. But here the overview that you understand the different velocities. But keep in mind, the barrel also influences the muzzle velocity, so take it with a grain of salt. But I think it's important to know what the muzzle velocity does to your bullet, so keep an eye on that when you play any kind of SMG. So in total, I think the MP5 is an amazing gun if you do the trade with the knives, otherwise it gets expensive very quickly, especially when you mod the gun. But with the knives it's amazing, it's a free gun and the gun performs very well. And the gun itself sits somewhere in the middle. It's a very good gun at early wipe, it's a decent gun at mid wipe, it falls off a bit end wipe when other SMGs like the MP7 become more viable, as more and more people will run level 5 and 6 armors. But as you all know, Rashala is a very stylish boy, and look at that, he has also a very exquisite taste when it comes to guns. And with the 50er max, it makes a lot of fun, just spray and pray into bushes when you spot something and he's gonna drop eventually. And as many other SMGs on the channel, the low recoil is perfect for people that have difficulties handling, for example, an AK recoil, which again makes it easier to land head-eyes, and then it doesn't matter what armor or whatever he was wearing. And of course, with all those videos, here is your M4 clip. So really cool gun, but still I would really only trade it for the knives and not buy it separately for rubles or dollars, as I think there are better choices, for example MPX or an SMG-19 for less ruble. So focus on the trade to maximize your min-maxing in Tarkov, which is essentially how you make money or how you stay rich. And that's it for the MP5. As always, if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. If you have questions or suggestions, join our Discord, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.